Hello, my name is Mejash, and a question I wanted to ask is what's the most or some of the most amazing things that God has done? What are some of the most amazing things that God has done? Surely, as it is written, it says, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, right? And God said, let there be light, and there was light, and God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness, and the light he called day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning was the first day. And certainly, reading this, I just found it to be amazing, like really, really amazing. And so I started to try to memorize chapter 1, the creation week. Did not quite get there, but nonetheless, it still amazes me how God brought all of this into existence from nothing. It's just amazing, the power of God. And I ask myself, is this the most extraordinary thing that God has done? Moving along, we get to Exodus, right? And God brought the people out of the land of Egypt after performing all of those miracles, or we would say plagues, in Egypt. And then Exodus story. Come to chapter 14, and the people now reached the point where there was a sea and there's nowhere to go. And so, find the people that begin to murmur. So, in Exodus chapter 14, if I read from verse 12, I would like to read from verse 12. It says, is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. So this is the complaint of the people. I can imagine there are babies, there are young ones, there are teenagers, there are adults and the elderly, so on and so forth. And so you can imagine thousands of people unrest, and their attitude towards Moses, like, what's up, you just brought us out here to die, better we stay in Egypt and serve the Egyptians and have better. Nonetheless, verse 13, we get Moses' response. It says, and Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, right? Which he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. So that was Moses' response. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Right? So Moses was confident that God will deliver the children of Israel from where they were in the wilderness and from the hand of the Egyptians who would have pursued after them shortly after. Now, God's response in the conversation, it says, and the Lord said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward. So, I'm just trying to picture how this played out in the minds of the people with their fears, fear for themselves, fear for their family, fear for their loved ones, husband, wives, so on and so forth. And now this man lead us out here nowhere in no man's land, basically, and now we're up against the sea, we cannot go forward. And no, Moses is going to tell the people what God says, go forward. And it's like, go forward where? There's a sea. What you expect we to do? So, God said, but lift up thou thy rod, and stretch out thy hand over the sea, and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. And can you just imagine the sea dividing? Moses raising up his rod, and the sea dividing, and now you're moving along as a multitude of people on dry ground. That must have been amazing to experience. And so I thought to myself, boy, I would have loved to have that experience and know, since Christ has come, we want to see some of these miracles, see the hand of God working, But it would be my argument that there are more amazing things that God has done since then, or since the beginning of creation. So fast forward into New Testament times, we see John writing in his epistle. In his first epistle, chapter 4, verse 8, it says, "He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love." And just thinking about that, just meditating upon it, and what it really says, what it really entails for us, it's something that I wouldn't be able to explain right now, something I will never be able to fully explain how amazing that is. Nonetheless, we're looking at the life of Jesus Christ, and when we go to John chapter 9, the Gospel of John chapter 9, right? After Jesus had opened the eyes of this man that was born blind, much to the dismay of the Pharisees who did not believe, and the multitude of the people who witnessed, and his parents. And so they went to the man that is now seeing Jesus had done this miracle, and it's hard for them to come to appreciate, acknowledge, to hear and believe that this man has done this thing. And so they were saying, we are the disciples of Moses and you must be his disciples. But they are contending that them being a disciple of Moses is of greater value and something more to be appreciated, But a man responds and say, never since the world began did any man open the eyes of him that was born blind. And I find this to be extremely amazing. Yes, the creation week is really amazing. Yes, the Exodus story is quite amazing. And when God sent the quails, if I remember correctly, gave the people meat to eat when there was no meat, and Moses struck the rock and all of these water came forth. I find all of these things to be extremely amazing. And when we get to John chapter 14, right? John chapter 14, and reading from verse 5. Thomas saith unto him, Lord, we know not whither thou goest, and how can we know the way? Jesus saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto me. No man cometh unto the Father but by me, right? If ye had known me, ye should have known my Father also. And from henceforth you know him, and have seen him. Philip saith unto him, Lord, show us the Father, and it sufficeth us. So, here is Jesus proclaiming all these things to his disciples. And now Philip say, geez, some peace. Where Jesus just said to me, from henceforth you have seen the Father. Say, obviously, man, I'll say, sure, according to where he was at that point in his walk, right? Show us the Father, and it sufficeth us. Show us the Father, and it will be enough for us. Show us the Father. So, obviously, Jesus' response, as we all know, Jesus said unto me, have I been so long with you, and yet hast thou not known me, Philip? So I must say, have I been so long with you, brethren, and you have not known me? He that has seen me have seen the Father. And how you gonna say, show us the Father? If you have seen me, Jesus Christ, you have seen the Father. And for me, this is the greatest revelation. As we read earlier in the book of John, it says that Jesus Christ had declared him. Right? He has shown us who the Father is, and I find this to be the most amazing. So lately I've just been reading the Gospels, listening to the Gospels, and just absorbing it, meditating upon it, and really finding strength in it, and finding it so such a beautiful thing to read, to believe, to digest, to partake of, all of which I will hope, according to the Lord's will, I'll be able to share some more. I really do love what we would call strong meat. Revelation is probably my most favorite book. You know, Deuteronomy is my favorite, one of my favorites as well. But I really do love Revelation. But really lately, going through these things, I really, really, really find the life of Jesus Christ to be the most amazing thing. As he had said in John chapter 7, I believe, he said, my doctrine is not mine, but he that sent me. And he said elsewhere that everything that I do is what the Father sent him to do. And everything he has told him is what the Father had said to him that he should tell them. And I just find these things to be a greater revelation of who God is, right? Because knowing that He's the Creator does not then tell me who He is or what He's about or give me an idea of His character. And to know that God is love itself. God is love. For me, is the greatest revelation that I could ask for, that I could seek. And let me know what are your thoughts and what do you believe are some of the things that you find to be the most amazing things that God has done since the beginning of creation, what you have studied, what you have learned, what you have experienced in your own lives, so on and so forth. I would love to hear from you. Again, my name is Majosh. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll definitely talk once again. Zane, bless up.